Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode 0 of the patron-exclusive behind-the-scenes show called the Blood Flow Podcast. My name is Bryce, and I will be your host for the show. Joining me today and every episode, it's Michael Bradley. He's the writer of the show and the builder of this large universe.
Hello, everyone.
So, Michael, just go for it, buddy. Take it away from here. Tell us what the show's about.
Okay, this show is a Patreon exclusive due to the fact that I always get a lot of emails and a lot of comments from people with like personal questions about the show, like how we made it, why did we do certain things in the show, and why did we choose to go this route, and they asked me for a lot of behind-the-scenes things, bloopers, and things like that, and I figured that now that we're actually coming to an end of the show, we can actually do something like that without having to do spoilers, without having to give away things about the show. We can safely say, this is why we did this. This is, our thought process behind it. And, just answer every single little random question that people have been asking me for a while now. And believe me, we've got a bunch of them.
And by the end of the show, it's just the end of the first chronicle, obviously. It's not the end of the whole series.
Right. We're moving on to the next chronicle, The Black-Hearted Mr. White.
All right, man. So it looks like you got it planned out. But what can we expect from the Blood Flow podcast? What can we expect from this show?
Well, from this show, you can expect several different things. For example, I plan to have the voice actors come in and join us on the show and talk to them about their experience, about how they felt about doing the show, how they felt about doing certain lines, because there are some lines on the show where people are like, oh my goodness, how was that line said and what was going through their minds? And now we can actually personally ask them, hey, what was going on through your mind when that was happening to you? Also, there's a lot of questions that are funny, like our first episode that we're going to do is someone asked me, what is your dream casting if you could cast the show for, the first chronicle, the Blood Drawn Chronicle. So you'll expect funny things like that in the show, episodes where we're like, okay, this is like this is like that. Also, a lot of people ask me about my writing process and how I actually get the show going and how I write the things that I write. And, I'll tell you all about my writing process and how it happens, when I cry during the show, when I laugh during the show. A lot of people want to know how hard it is to write Woodrow Carly. I'll let them know about that. I'll also tell them a bunch of funny stories that have happened with me throughout the show that inspired the show.
Well, sweet. That sounds cool. I'm looking forward to working on this with you, Mike. But what's our first episode going to be about?
All right. So I had this one fan actually write to me on our website, foxplaybox.com.
Right.
And she said that when she pictures Myrick, she pictures... She said the guy from Kingsman.
Colin Firth?
Yeah, the guy that plays Iggsy. She says she pictures him because the guy that plays Iggsy. She loves him so much, and she pictures him with Myrick. But it's that deep voice that she has to add on to him. And so she asked me, when I wrote the show, who did I have casted in my mind? And I didn't have anyone casted actually, but I started thinking about it, and I said, who would I get to play these characters? Who would I actually get? Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I think in cartoons. So I make original people. But if I could get anyone to cast, well, I'm going to save the best for the next for the next episode, the main character, of course. But I'll pick Theophilus.
Okay.
If I could get anyone to play Theophilus in my mind, I would say that the Kingpin from Daredevil would have been a good Theophilus. What was his name?
Oh, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah. He played with Ben Affleck. Yeah, that's the one. How about for you? Who would have been a good Theophilus?
See, all I had to go on was like just what you told me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I didn't have I didn't have a full picture of Theophilus. But whenever you would tell me about him, I would always picture Abe Vigoda, like in his prime. You know what I'm saying?
From The Godfather?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yes. Like, I always pictured him just decked out, and I don't know. That's who I always pictured.
That's awesome. Yeah, but in the first episode, we're going to be talking about the entire lineup of the cast who I would pick, who you would have picked as both being an actor and a lover of the show, and of course the director of the show, Daniel Klein, who he would have picked, because let me tell you, me and him, total opposites as far as casting goes.
Oh, that'll be interesting then.
Yeah, it will.
All right, man. So what do we have to look forward to in the future with this show?
Well, this show is one of the big reasons why I'm doing this show is not only to satisfy my fans, but it's also to help us produce The Black-Hearted Mr. White. It's our biggest production yet. In Blood-Drawn, we didn't really have a lot of sound effects. We didn't have a lot of music, mostly because we didn't know how to put music into the 1690s and make it sound legit. In the 1920s, that's not a problem. Also, we didn't have the right setup and the right studio to be able to produce something this big like the Black-Hearted Mr. White. So now that we're all ready to produce this. We already have all of our posters ready, all of our ideas, everything we have. We need now the support. And for a while, I was thinking about doing a Patreon special for all of our patrons that answers all the questions that all of our fans have. But the thing that I didn't want to do was give spoilers. And now that we're coming to a close with our 12th season on Patreon, coming out in about 2 weeks, we can finally do this show, and I can finally tell everybody all the secrets that came to be to produce the first Chronicle.
That makes sense. Especially when you have it all laid out and the way that you do.
Yeah, I wrote all 12 seasons. Boom.
Right. So when somebody asks you a question, it's almost impossible for you to not be like, oh, and then, never mind, I'm going to retract that. But once you put it out there,
yeah,
it's out there.
Yeah. No, definitely.
All right, man. So there you guys have it. If you consider yourself a true blue fan of the Blood-Drawn Chronicles, then please check out the show and help support us. That way we can continue to produce high-quality audio dramas for you guys. Like the next one coming out, The Black-Hearted Mr. White. It is only through your guys' generous donations and contributions through Patreon that helps us do this. All right, now, everyone knows that with Patreon you get perks and different things when you actually make pledges, and this Patreon is no different. We have a number of different perks that you get, but it would only take $1 to be able to listen to this whole Blood Flow podcast. I mean, listen to Mike. He's got a lot of stuff planned, and like I said, he's already given you 12 seasons in a year of the Blood-Drawn Chronicles. Just think about what this guy will give you when he's actually paid to do the work.
Thanks.
Now, throughout this, Mike's been talking about a Q&A and getting questions answered that people have asked, and that's actually one of the benefits of being a Patreon member at the $1 level. It'll guarantee that you get your question answered on show by the creator himself, Michael Bradley. And now there's something else that the patrons are going to get, isn't there, Mike?
Yes.
What's that?
Is. When I made this show, there was so many things happening to create this show, so many experiences, and I could tell you right now that I cried when I made this show. I laughed when I made this show. I was serious when I made this show. I was angry when I made this show. And certain episodes have a special place in my heart when I made these, and that's why they're written with such passion. When people ask me, how did you write these? And, that's what I want to share with everybody, I write these in such a style to where people actually ask me, hey, are you British? And I have to tell them, sorry, I'm not. So that's pretty much what I want to share with you guys is those experiences.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Mike, thank you so much for coming in here and doing this with me, buddy. My name's Bryce. That's been Mike. And that's going to do it for tonight. Have a great night. Bye-bye.